Hello. All right. It
Hello,
is
the workshop.
hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Christine.
All right, and I'm just gonna make everyone here co-hosts. Is Jacob Alberts also with y'all?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
okay. Jacob was not on my list, but I'll get them into the room. All right, make a co-host. Make a co-host. Make a co-host. All right. Hi, TechSmith folks and Christine. Thank you so much for sponsoring us, and I'm gonna hopefully give you all the things you need for the room, and I will take care of letting people in. So this is your chance to like test out tech, make sure you're all good. I will largely be in the background, but very excited that you're here. If you have any tech problems, just let me know.
Okay.
I'm the one who's kind of managing all the Zooms today. So
Okay. Lucky you, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, he's an amazing tech wizard behind the scenes.
All right.
Casey, how do I pronounce your last name? Because I'm
Like,
planning to introduce you.
okay, perfect. I appreciate the question. It's apple cider. Like, yeah, it's pronounced cider. Yeah.
Cider. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
Like cider. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. So I do have, so most of today is going to be like live demo, but I do have a few slides. Would you prefer to introduce me and then I jump into the slides, or what are you thinking? Should I present them beforehand? Whatever your preference is, Christine.
Well, I don't have any slides for the welcome today, so if you want to go ahead and share your
Yeah,
slide deck and
sure.
just have that be,
Our main
up
screen. Yep.
there, and I'll give a quick welcome and a couple of reminders, housekeeping type of things, and then I'll step into introducing you, all of you, and then you can take it from there. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah.
All right.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear
good.
you.
I just wanted to check because I'm using a little bit different setup than I had earlier today. So just want to make sure it's working.
Gonna
I
say
do
your
hear
lighting looks nice.
yeah, the lighting looks good. I do hear a faint echo. Are you in a bigger room?
I'm just not using a headset now. I'm
Okay.
using, a standalone mic.
I think it still
So
sounds
there's
good.
probably
Yeah.
just more room, picks up more room noise probably just from my office. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if you prefer, I can go back to if it sounds better, I can go back
I
to the
was gonna
headset.
say there's some settings in Zoom that has like echo removal on it
Okay.
using AI. So whatever flavor of AI wants
Right.
Oh,
to.
artificial intelligence? Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh, what? What a new concept. We I'm like, oh my gosh, like early Galaga had like AI built into it for the little aliens, and they were way harder to use.
Well, it's actually funny because, since AI is now the newest fun buzzword, we get questions about like how does Camtasia use AI, and there are answers that people what they ask. I have an answer for what they want to hear, but technically like a lot of it is artificial intelligence. You just wouldn't like it's just not the answer that you're looking for. Yeah. So all right, well, perfect. All right, let me share my screen, make sure I'm sharing sound here.
Yeah, it does show the Zoom that it has the auto background noise suppression is turned on right now. So
It sounds good. I
okay,
think you're good to go. Yeah, I just noticed
great.
a slight change, but yeah.
And we're good to go with the discount. Just wanted to make sure there's an understanding there, Michael.
Yes, Michelle, if that question was directed at me, we do have a promo code set up. So any attendee can reach out to us at the email address that will be shown during Casey's presentation. There it is, education@techsmith.com.
Yep.
And any of those attendees, we will be able to make sure they secure that 15% off discount. Yes.
So, Christine, I have some music tracks. We could try that out just when we let people in the lobby, just to let everybody get kind of situated here. I'll play it, and you guys tell me if it's too distracting, if we want to cut it, or.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll start with that, and then whenever you're ready, you can just go ahead and begin, and I will discontinue the.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. I am a big fan of wait music, so
Yes. All
Now
right.
we're all going to be chair dancing.
Hey, that's an exciting way to start a presentation. I mean,
Yeah.
gets attention, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm ready on my end. So I'm going to keep my webcam on, but anybody who wants to put their webcam off, that's totally up to you. But I guess now would be the time to do it. But I'm good to start accepting people into the lobby.
All right.
Perfect. And hello and welcome to everyone just joining. We have our Save Time with TechSmith session in just a little bit. You are in the right spot. So we have about 3 to 4 minutes here before we're going to get started. Thanks, everyone. Hello and welcome to everyone just joining. My name is Casey. I'll be your host for the session for today. We're going to get started in probably about 2 minutes here. So you're in the right spot. Just sit tight and we'll be starting soon. Thank you.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock and we're going to get started. To give TechSmith some time, their time to do their presentation. So I want to welcome you all back to day 2 of the 2023 ACTAL virtual conference. It's so good to see all of you here. Just a few quick housekeeping type of reminders. All of the sessions today will be recorded. And so just some reminders about Zoom etiquette. Make sure you're muted if you are not speaking. Your microphone is muted if you're not speaking. To participate in the conversations, either raise your hand or enter your comments and questions into the chat. Presenters of our roundtables, when you enter the room, please put presenter in parentheses beside your name so that Keys knows to make you a co-host, co-host of your session. I'm going to hand it over to the TechSmith people. Thank you so much for sponsoring us and for being here with us today. We're very excited about this. So I'm going to introduce Casey Sider, and he is presenting today. And Casey, I will let you introduce the rest of your group because I saw a slide that had them on there. So, all right, hand it over to you. Take it away.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Christine. And thank you all for inviting us. We're really happy to be a part of it, help sponsor this event, and carve out a little bit of time to show you guys some exciting new features that we have with Camtasia and Audiate. So for today, I have a few slides, but most of this is going to be live demo, so pretty exciting. I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into it here. So my name is Casey Sider. I'm a customer success manager. Me and my team, what we do is we help all of our clients after they've made the initial purchase to help onboard and deploy the software. We do end user training. We kind of fill a consultant role. We do roundtables ourselves. That's fun and exciting. So we are an additional resource for anyone that has a Camtasia, Snagit, or Audiate license. So if you ever have questions for me specifically or for our team, you can always reach out to us at education@techsmith.com. And I'm just happy to be here, so I appreciate the invite. So thank you all. Okay, let me introduce you to our stellar team that we have today. Thank you to every TechSmithy that is here. There's some not on the screen, and I want to thank you guys not mentioned for your time today. I do appreciate you, but we are joined by Mr. Scott Fisher, an account manager, and Mr. Jacob Elberts, also an account manager. And I'm very, very happy to introduce Shane Lavellet, our senior strategy lead. He has some really, really great insight, and I was very lucky to snag him for today. So thank you, Shane, for your time. Very happy that you are here today. One more time, we have this email right in front of you here, education@techsmith.com. I think Scott's going to be popping that email into the chat as we go on. Feel free to reach out to us with any questions that you may have about the software. Okay, so we have a quick agenda for us today. So there's two main things that I'm going to be demoing today. The first is Camtasia Rev, which is a new tweak, a new minor update that we've done to Camtasia. Gosh, I think it was about 2 to 3 weeks ago, so it wasn't that long ago. So we're going to start with Rev. Then we're going to jump into editing audio and video in Audiate, how Camtasia and Audiate work together. It's pretty seamless. It's very impressive, in my opinion. Then we're going to do, this is a fun one. We're going to do caption generation with Audiate as well. And yes, we do have AI technology that we are showing off today, AI tech and script generation with Audiate. That's going to be right at the end. All right, perfect. As Christine said, we are recording this session. I just want to note one thing, that if you have your webcam on, you will be part of this recording. You don't have to be. You can turn your webcam off. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever, but just for a privacy concern, if you do not want your video recorded, go ahead and toggle that webcam off. And if you need a copy of this recording, Christine will have that, and she can share that with you. Feel free to share that with your friends, with your coworkers, if they want to get up to date on the new TechSmith products here. One more thing, so for questions, Christine addressed this. We have a really tight schedule for today. I got a lot to show you here. We only have 30 minutes, so if there's, so I prefer if you would pop any and all questions into the chat. We have a whole team of TechSmithies, which is what we call ourselves, here to answer questions. And we also have that education@techsmith.com email address. If you didn't get a question answered, you can always reach out to us directly. I hope we have time to take some live questions at the end, but I'm guessing that we're not gonna. So please, if you have a question, pop that into chat. All right, let's jump into the fun stuff, guys. Let's go into Camtasia Rev. All right, so here is the Camtasia Rev screen. Now, as of 2 weeks ago, whenever you make a new recording, when you boot up the recorder in Camtasia, there's a toggle switch, and I'm going to show you in about 10 minutes here that the toggle switch to toggle on or off, Camtasia Rev triggers once you make a brand new recording. Now, I've already made my recording, again, just as a time saver for today. So this is the Camtasia Rev screen. I've blown it up here. So before we jump into the details, let me just explain quickly what this is. So basically, what I recorded was just myself with a webcam talking about a PowerPoint slide. So very, very basic use case, screen recording with picture-in-picture, going through some slides for, let's say I'm an instructor going through a remote class, right? So that's the raw footage that we've taken. Now, I've already, I've done my 90 seconds. I've done my intro. Now we're going to jump into the Rev features. So the first option that is before you is some different default formatting sizes. We are in the size section of Rev. So the first one is just a basic recording size. What you made is what you get. And that's usually what I default to, but we have a lot of different options here. We can do a wide angle 16:9, which is kind of industry standard at this point. We have that option. You can do 9:16, which is a vertical option here. And then there is a square option. Now, there are logos in the bottom right-hand corner of every option here that will tell you what social media platform this is the most applicable for. As an example, with the wide angle here, YouTube really prefers that, and also LinkedIn prefers that as well. And then we have some options for TikTok. You probably recognize this vertical screen from TikTok here. This is also for YouTube and Instagram. And then we have the square option here for, I believe that's LinkedIn and Instagram. Now, let me call on our strategy lead, Shane. Shane, do you have any insight into these file formats, or I'm sorry, structure formats that I haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah, I think the key here is just to really help users be able to identify what's the right format for where they want to go with their final sharing destination.
Yep.
Just trying to make that really easy and give some insight there so they can quickly pick between those and then get that recording formatted for that particular type of screen size. So then you can quickly see the results just by clicking and selecting them. It's all non-destructive. So it's just a matter of giving you a really easy way to see what the layouts or these formats look like so you can get the right size and just accelerate your creation process.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you used that phrase, Shane, non-destructive, because just to be clear, we're just picking options here. We're doing broad strokes. At the end of the day, we're going to finish these and go up here in the top right-hand corner, and we're going to edit in Camtasia. So nothing's necessarily set in stone. This is just pointing you in the right direction. So I'm going to default to the recording size because that's just my personal favorite. But now let's jump on over to layout. Layout is very interesting. So as I mentioned, the two components to this recording are both PowerPoint, so screen recording, and then webcam. All of these different options allow you to structure this and frame this how you see fit. So here's an example where we have a kind of a rectangle here, and then we have the actual screen recording in the background. So this is the full webcam. Now, if I were to jump to something like this option, this uses a new feature in Camtasia 2023, which is background removal. So Camtasia has gone ahead and removed all the background here. So now it's just me, big and large, in the middle of the screen here. So there's just a lot of different options that you can pick for the context and the tone of your presentation. As an example, here's one option that I probably am not going to pick because it's kind of cutting off the screen. Now, yes, if I wanted to choose this, I could probably fix the dimensions when I jump into Camtasia, but generally speaking, I just have so many options. I just don't want to go with that one. It just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I would choose something more like this, where we have the virtual background, the actual background removed, and then we have the majority of the screen is taken by the content at hand, which is the PowerPoint. Shane, what do you think about these? Any additional insights here that you have for me?
Casey, I think you're spot on here. This is really about helping people get the right layout quickly, because trying to do this in a nonlinear editor, and then once you get into the editing process, can take some time, right, to resize your different streams of recording content that you captured. And we want to inspire users and help them get to a great looking result faster. And so these layouts really help you just click through and see, how does this look? Is it the right look for what I'm trying to create? And again, these are all non-destructive, and you can easily adjust them later when you go into Camtasia, which Casey will show as well. But again, it's just trying to give you some inspiration and really make it easy to lay out your video in the best way possible without having to learn a bunch of resizing and tweaks you have to do if you were in the editor proper.
right? And once we get into the actual editor, I'll show you how much time we're actually saving. If I were to do all these features manually, it'd probably take me about 5 minutes, right? And so we can cut that into 30 seconds with this process. So pretty cool. Okay, so we talked about size, we've talked about layout. Let's jump into the backgrounds here. The background is very interesting. You might have noticed that this was already kind of turned on because I've used Rev before, so this option was here. But there's two types of backgrounds that we have. There's dynamic fills and there's dynamic backgrounds. A dynamic fill are the first kind of probably first 4 rows here that you're seeing. What these are color palettes. These are all different options of color palettes, so you can find the one that kind of matches the context and the color theme of your actual presentation. So I'm going to choose, I think, I want that one. Yes. So let me bring this down and just kind of show you, it's not just a static color. If you watch over time, and I'm just scrubbing through the video here, these colors slowly, not jarringly, but slowly change over time. And all of this is just to add some more, I want to say dynamism, but I'm mispronouncing that word. I apologize, but a little bit more pizzazz. It does make it seem more engaging. There's more to look at, and it creates this idea of kind of a 3D space as opposed to just, yep, here's a PowerPoint and here's my webcam. You know, this is the idea that students could use this to kind of spice up what might be a somewhat dry kind of presentation. So that's the background fill, that's the dynamic fill. But we also have another option, which is the dynamic background. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the gear here. So if you look, you'll see in the background, the dynamic background is similar to the color palette fill. It's just a little bit more dramatic, right? Like here we have gears moving. I like this one a little bit. So this is some different pulsating effects and shapes that kind of move all around. Now, we offer the 2 different options because some of these you may find distracting, right? Maybe that's a little bit too much for your audience based off the context of the video. So maybe you just want to stick with a nice smooth color palette change. I just want to show off one more. Gosh, where is my favorite one here? Hold on for just a second. Yep. Yep, here we go. So we also have the waves here that move over time. And also you can change all of these. Pretty much everything in Camtasia can be manipulated and altered if you choose so when we actually get into Camtasia. So we're going to talk about that. Shane, did you have any extra thoughts on the background, or should we jump to the next one?
Yeah, I think you can go to the next one. I think the
Yep.
key there is really just making it easy to create some of that little bit of motion to engage the viewer, right? The more of that there is, our eyes are really drawn to that. So it keeps that viewer more engaged and just really ups the professional level of the video itself.
Absolutely, absolutely, it does. Okay, so
And
let's jump.
real quick, Casey,
Oh,
we have a
yes,
great
please.
question in the chat. I just want to
Yeah.
jump in and make sure
fantastic.
everybody understands this feature, Camtasia Rev, is available to anyone that has Camtasia 2023 installed.
Boom.
All you need to do is check for updates, download the latest update 2023.3, and that will give you access to this awesome new feature Casey is showing off. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now this is my favorite section. Here we have the fun effects here. So I can apply a lot of effects. So I actually already had some effects applied, but I de-applied them, and now I'm going to do it again. So let's take an example here. So corner rounding, well, the moment I click on this, it will smooth out these kind of jagged corners here. And this, I love a nice polished look. I use corner rounding literally anytime I use webcam, it's gotta have some corner rounding here. We also have this background removal option, which we discussed before. So right now I have the background there, but maybe I want to get rid of that, right? Now that I'm looking at this, it looks kind of weird where I'm located. So let's turn the background removal off. But guess what? We do have a mask option to pop this into a circle, which is I'm a fan of that. Maybe we want to add some drop shadow, just add a little bit more 3D interactivity. We also have some cursor options, cursor color, shadow, highlight, and cursor scale, which is a cool effect. For me, I want to add the highlight option, and I think I'm going to add a border right here. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and go on to the last category, which is filters right here. Now you might recognize this. This is, I consider this similar to like the Instagram filters that we have, or that is on that social media platform. There's all kinds of different ones. Here's, for example, cold punch, hot. Oh, there's a cold and hot punch. Interesting. Green pop, golden hour. So this is where you can start being experimental. As an example here, my background has kind of a red hue to it. And when I choose golden hour, well, now look, now they kind of match. So in this context, maybe this is exactly what I would want to do, is just some small ways to enhance this video. So there's some options there. One other that I want to say, I really like Tasteful as well. I think that looks very, very clear cut. One other thing that I just wanted to mention is that there is also here a filter that does a 50% boost in brightness, which I sometimes use. So if your particular recording is a little bit dark, if your studio just or your home office maybe doesn't have enough lighting, you can do a 50% boost in brightness. Now, before we jump into Camtasia proper, any final thoughts on these effects, size, layout, background, effects, and filters, Shane? What are you thinking here?
Well, just to touch on the filters again, this is coming out. We see this happening a lot and social media platforms have really popularized this idea of filters. And this really gives an artistic touch to the content and also can help correct maybe bad lighting or bad, recording situations that somebody was in. But from a student perspective, if they're wanting to create something for their social media channel just to create some engagement, or, that's part of their marketing program, they could, in here, this gives them the ability to quickly add some of that polish or that artistic nature to their content to make it more engaging and kind of stand out from the crowd for their own social media channels or for, just student assignments as well. So It's a really fun way to just experiment and click around and be able to see the results instantly to decide if that's something you want to include or not.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to leave it on Tasteful because that's me. That's me in a nutshell. So, okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and jump into Camtasia proper. Thank you, Shane, for some extra context
and
for all these features.
As Casey's doing that, the one I did want to point out from the Rev experience as well, you can, as your creation process, if you are happy with it, maybe this was a real short, video for YouTube Shorts or for social media or TikTok, you could export right out of the Rev experience and produce that into an MP4 and share it immediately. If you've added went through those steps and everything looks good to you, great. You can just go straight to export, or you can come into Camtasia, which the editor, which Casey is showing now, and now you have even more capability and more control over what you can do.
Yep. And so just for time, I have about 12 minutes left and I still have a lot to show you guys. So let me just show you real quick though. So here we are in Camtasia, and when I open up the effects drawers, you'll see, okay, so this is on the actual webcam footage. So here we have border, here we have drop shadow, the mask, the corner rounding. Like I could do all this manually in Camtasia, but like I said, it would take maybe 5-10 minutes for me to find the right features, make sure that I'm configuring them correctly. So Rev can save you so much time here. And just as a quick point, you can always change things. So maybe this circle ultimately is too big and I want to bring it down. You can still edit everything here. So like I said, and what Shane has been alluding to, nothing's really set in stone. These are kind of the broad strokes, the broad stroke choices to be able to make a quick polished video on the fly. Okay.
A question did come in, and we could address maybe really quick here. Casey,
sure,
was about,
please.
Can you use Rev with other videos, or is it only for screen recordings? It is only for recordings right now. It is only for recordings you make with the Camtasia recorder. Yes. So you can do just screen. You can do screen, but you can do screen plus camera, which obviously is Casey's doing here. You could do camera only with it as well. And so your options that you'll see in Rev will adjust slightly depending on whether you have screen plus camera or just screen. But for now, it has to come from the recorder. In the future, we're looking at expanding that to make it available for other types of media as well.
Right, absolutely. And again, so the Rev toggle switch will be when you record your new recording. There's a toggle switch that you can flip that on or off. So one example that I want to show here is how I can use different assets to combine this with the Rev experience. So one change in this Camtasia update as well is a little bit into the UI up here. Up here in the media bin, we have the media bin, that is classic, but then we have some toggle options here. We have Camtasia assets and your library. So your library is same as before. Every Camtasia comes loaded with a Camtasia 2023 assuming it's that version, library. But then in the center, we also have Camtasia Assets. Camtasia Assets are a web portal that we offer. Anyone can go to Camtasia Assets right now and be able to download. There are some paid assets. We partner with Shutterstock to create these. So there's premium ones, but there's also a lot of free ones, and anyone can go and download them. So just as an example, let's say I like this video, you know, Rev's awesome, but I want to add an intro of some sort. Well, I just go to the Camtasia Assets section, type in intro. Let's see what we get here. Okay, so maybe I want to do Icron's intro. So I literally just drag and drop that down here, and it will download the entire piece of media, which is pretty impressive. I don't have to go to that third party. I can just go ahead and download it automatically here. And so now maybe I will adjust the size just a little bit. And so this will say your name here, or your main title here, your subtext here. And all I have to do is go over to the properties tab. And this particular presentation was for an English class. So I will say, I'll just type in the title of my presentation and my name. So look at that. How quick was that? Seconds, you know, to be able to have this nice polished intro, and then we would jump on in to the actual meat and potatoes of the presentation. In that same route, I'm not actually going to do it just for time, but if I wanted a music track on here, I could just type in music and just see what's available. Maybe I wanted to make this a spooky one in honor of Halloween, right? Or, you know, do a dark wave or guitar and strings. I have plenty of options, and I can just pick and choose what I want to do. Okay, so that right there is the Rev experience. For time, I want to go ahead and switch on over to the other product that we're talking about today, which is Audiate. So to boot up Audiate here, I would select the video clip in Camtasia that has audio associated with it, and I can go ahead and click over here, edit in Audiate. So we'll save a quick copy, that's fine. Yep, no problem. And now what's happening, guys, is that Audiate is scrubbing this whole video and using speech to text technology to transcribe every spoken word into a script. And it's going to pop up in just a second. So this alone, I think, is really, really powerful just as a scripting tool. But once we get all these words into Audiate, we can go ahead and start editing. So we start with the audio in terms of editing, and then we sync it with Camtasia. So it's a unique approach, but it's very, very powerful here. But what this is going to do, and it will pop up in a second, but it's going to isolate all the ums and ahs and maybe awkward pauses that I have in my presentation. All right, here we go. Cool. So here we have all of the text right here, and I can just click on sections and I can edit text as I see fit. So just as one example here, my last name is pronounced cider, like apple cider, but it's spelled in here Snyder. So if I wanted to, I could just go ahead and just change that, you know? I could just change that to cider. Perfect. It's just like a word processing doc. One other option I could do, I'm going to hit Control F, and I could find and replace every instance of Snyder or something like that and replace it with my actual last name, Cider, right? Now, since I already made the change, it's not showing up here, but you can imagine how efficient this can make you if the speech to text transcription technology keeps, you know, shooting out an incorrect word. It doesn't happen that often because the speech to text percentage is rather high, but sometimes it does get, you know, proper names wrong. You know, it might base it on the actual pronunciation as opposed to the spelling. So keep that in mind. Okay, so up here in the top left-hand corner, I have the option to delete or silence all hesitations. Audiate considers any or you know, any basically like nervous tick kind of things. It will delete all of that. I also have the option to silence or shorten pauses. I'm not going to do that now, but I do want to delete all hesitations. So you'll notice delete all hesitations, boom. They are all automatically gone. Yeah, Shane, go ahead.
If you've ever had to edit, you know, trying to do that with a waveform and trying to identify that exact point and the little where the bump happens and get a clean cut so it doesn't, you know, start to say part of the it's, you know, very, very time consuming. One of the most time consuming things you can do in video editing. And so this just makes it so much faster and easier. You can just eliminate all that with a click, and it does a really good job of doing a nice clean cut where those words happen. You know, we spent a lot of effort in making that timing really as exact as possible. So that sounds really nice when it does remove it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, so I went up here and I synced this with Camtasia. So technically what I did is I deleted a bunch of probably 2 to 3 second little ums, right? But when we go back to Camtasia, what you're going to see here is that it will also automatically delete the video, the corresponding video components associated with that So what it will basically result in is a very small, very minor little jump cut as that is removed. But I'm just amazed that we have this kind of technology where you're basically editing both video and audio together simultaneously. And, you know, if you're worried about the jump cuts, personally for me, I mean, jump cuts were a huge deal 15, 20 years ago, but these days with the prevalence of social media, you see jump cuts all the time. I think a lot of people see it and don't even realize what they're seeing. So
Yeah.
sorry, Shane, go ahead.
No, that's a good. I agree.
Yeah.
Like that used to be a rule, right? That was video
Right.
production rule editing. You didn't want to have jump cuts, and all those kind of rules evolve over time, right? And so social media and YouTube have really changed those rules a lot, and that jump cut is sort of an accepted norm now in terms of
Right.
videos and how people are creating that content.
Oh, absolutely. And so I also just want to point out, I'm not limited to things like ums and ahs. As an example, here in my speech to text script, I say Zoom office hours are on Mondays. And wait, are they on Mondays? This was a question for myself that I was doing live and I wasn't sure. So, you know, if I had done that normally with Camtasia, I would have had to manually edit that out. But what I can do is just bring up Audiate, delete it. It's gone. And now the next time I sync it, it will sync and Camtasia will just automatically edit out that whole clip, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah,
One
so
other
what
thing,
you're basically editing a document,
right?
and that
Yeah,
document now is editing your video and your audio so that you don't have to manually work in that. You know, it's a lot easier to edit like you're working in a document, just cutting out words and things like that. So that
yeah.
saves a tremendous amount of time there too.
I don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. That's cool to stay, you know, that kind of, it just go right through the whole thing really quickly. One other thing that I wanted to show off. So we've talked about the speech to text generation. It's very cool. Down here in the bottom right hand corner, let's talk about how Audiate can help you just edit audio and enhance audio. So down here we have filters and special effects. So when I hit this big plus button, I have some options. Remove noise, remove reverb, remove plosives, declipper, equalizer. So this is for when there are disruptions in your audio. So if I choose remove noise, as an example, let's say I'm in my home office and I have a fan going on in the background and I just didn't think about it, right? But then when I make the actual audio, I realize, gosh, I can hear that fan now. That's distracting. Well, instead of having to redo the whole thing, I can pop this into Audiate and see what I can do. So I could play around with this remove noise filter. Maybe I want to take it up to 100%. Maybe I want to do, I don't know, 24%, something. You can play around with this and see what makes the most sense. But we also have pre-built presets. So here we go. Oh, look, here's a fan noise one. That's perfect for what my problem is. But maybe it was just in general poor audio recording. Maybe it was recorded outdoors or something and there was too much ambient noise. You know, that kind of stuff you can all, like, we have these presets to accommodate that. So I'm going to choose fan noise and it looks like that's set at about 70%. So perfect. Let me add an additional filter here. So now I'm going to go back and maybe I'm in my my studio, right? My like production studio in office, and it's a very large room. So maybe there's a reverb in there. So I can, same thing. I can go in here and kind of play around with the settings, make sure I get the exact setting that I want to make sure that audio is crisp and clear. And I could do also, oh, look, yep, there's a boxy office or a big room, you know, with presets. So now that I've added multiple ones, I want to point out that you can create special presets based off production locations. So maybe it's a combination of all these things for your home office. Maybe you want to denoise and de-reverb. It's a hard word to say fast. de-reverb. Maybe you want to add those together and save that as a preset, and that's Casey's home office, right? So now in the future, I don't have to worry about it. I can just click that preset and choose Casey's home office. Same if I wanted to make a home office one and a in-house production one when I'm actually in the office and I'm in that different environment. So there's ways that you can mix and match here, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and I think even if you like in your libraries if you have a recording environment, a recording studio as part of that lab, right, then you could, if there is some kind of noise or whatever that's happening in there that's unique to that room,
Yep.
you could create that preset and just have it. And even you had an option to have that be the default every time. So there's some nice flexibility there to kind of customize it to fit really well for the environment where you're creating the most of those kind of recordings.
Oh, absolutely. And so I only have a few minutes left. I just want to show you guys one last feature. This is what everybody wants to see. This is the artificial technology component of Audiate. So when I go over
Artificial
here,
intelligence technology.
wait, oh, I'm so sorry, I misspoke. Artificial intelligence technology, not
yeah,
artificial.
It's not the artificial technology.
Shane, this is why I have you here. Thank you.
No,
Thank you so
it's
much.
funny. I knew what you meant.
So I'm going to go ahead and click on audio here. And what Audiate lets me do is it lets me use artificial intelligence to generate a script and then create spoken word narrative to voice that script. So let's go ahead and go to generate script. So I have some options. I'm going to create a new script. What type do I want? I could do an informational, a marketing commercial, a social media short form. Let's do educational lesson, okay? And then maybe the style here, I could choose different ones. I could choose verbose or serious, reserved, humorous. I'm going to choose humorous. And again, in honor of the recent holiday, I want to do a lesson on the history of horror movies. Sure, let's start there. And I also have a length option where if I really wanted to go long or the max, I could do that. I'm going to do short because I'm actually very impressed by even just the short length. I'm going to go ahead and hit generate script here. And I'm going to choose to add it to the existing script. So I'll just say personally, for me, in college, I was an English major. I love to write, I love to read, and I am quite impressed by the quality of these AI generated scripts. Okay, so here we have. So first of all, before we even get into like the first sentence, look at how long this is. This is a lot of content right here. All right, let's welcome to our lesson on the history of horror movies. Get ready for a spooktacular journey through the dark and twisted world of cinema. From the early days of Nosferatu to the modern horrors of It and Conjuring. So those are three movies AI just looked up in the short time, what was it, 30 seconds, that it took to generate this script. It goes on and on. I'm shocked that it mentions Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. That's a great one. But my point here is that you can use this kind of scripting as a starting point to just get the ball rolling, right? And you can choose any topic in the world, and it will generate an awesome script like this. One last piece to this is I'm going to go back to create. And now I want to generate the audio for this. Now in my testing, playing this back, I couldn't, the actual audio level was not great. So I apologize if that's the case, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose a voice pattern. So I can choose all these different persona names, and I can choose a kind of a default if I wanted to, a narrator voice, witness protection voice, which can be kind of funny. I also just want to point out that you can switch this over to different languages too. I could make this speech all in French if I wanted to, right? But for right now, we're going to stick with English, and we're going to use the voice of Michelle. Not Michelle Massey, who's on our call here, but all right, perfect. So I've added this filter.
Welcome to our lesson on the history of horror movies. Get ready for a spooktacular journey through the dark and...
Wow. And I actually heard that just fine. Were you
Yeah,
guys
that sounded
hearing that
good.
okay? Yeah,
Sounded good
okay.
on my end.
So like, let's switch this just really quick, just because I think it's awesome. Let's do it in French. Why not?
Welcome to our lesson on the history of horror movies. Get ready for a spectacular journey through the dark.
So that's in an accent, but you can also, switch to the actual proper language as well. So Shane, what do you think about this? What haven't I said that this is fantastic for?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that, one, you could think of Audiate too is really great for podcasting. Like if you're generating, need to create a podcast, you can record audio directly in Audiate. You can start with Audiate to either have AI help you kind of create a script. You can bring in your own script. you can have AI help you rewrite a script that you bring in just to enhance it more. But then you can create either a lot of people don't like the sound of their own voice when they hear it back after it's been recorded. So you have an opportunity to choose a lot of different voices. Or you could even kind of create this conversation back and forth between maybe it's you and one of the voices, right? Where you can kind of break your script up into different pieces and you can apply different voices to each part of your script and have it, read from that voice. So there's a lot of flexibility there, but it's really fast and easy to do. And also for the language piece, if you've got, need to translate from English to German or English to French and use that, especially English as a second language type courses, right? That can be really helpful. So there's just a lot of great capability with Audiate, not only to help you make it easier to edit your video, but also for other audio use cases you might have.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry to kind of cut you off there a little bit, Shane, but
no, that's okay.
we are at time, we're over time, and I want to be respectful of all the different sessions that are planned for today. So thank you guys so much for attending. We are very happy to have you. I'm going to pop this email right in front of you one more time. If you have any questions, if you want consultation, potential training, if you just want to talk TechSmith, talk about our products, please feel free to reach out. We'll have Scott, Jacob, and Shane, ready for you here. So please feel free to reach out to education@techsmith.com. Thank you guys so much for the time, and I'm going to hand it back to Christine. Thank you, Christine. All. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Casey and your TechSmithies. Okay, so feel free to head off to your 140 session of your choice. We have 6 different roundtables set up for today. So I'll let y'all go, and we will convene around 3:50 for our closing. So thank you very much. A question for Michelle, maybe? Something about the discount code. Is that going to be emailed to the participants, or how
about this, Christine?
Work?
I can jump in here. We do have a 15% off promotion for anybody who's attended today's session. So if you want access to Camtasia or Audiate, feel free to reach out to us at that education email that Casey showed on screen. And I posted in the chat a few times. That'll be the best way to contact the team that worked with you today, and we'll be able to get you that discount. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay.
I want to jump on real fast to say that one of the this being recorded. So hi, I'm Eric Johnson. I'm one of the host people. So one of the nice things about it being recorded, of course, is that people will be watching. I know that there are some people who actually specifically said they were really sorry to miss this, but they were very excited to find out that they'll be able to watch it. So really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric, for your help today. Yeah.
Great to have you.
All right. Well, it was great to meet you, and thank you again for sponsoring us and for sharing these awesome products with us. All right. I'm going to end our session, and I wish you a happy day. Happy rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you all so much. And we'll thank you in person too. So it'd be a in-person conference. So we're hosting next week. So
will they be there? Will you all be there?
No, I'm
not.
And then in front of all the people, we will thank you.
I see.
So yes, I apologize for that.
No,
you're welcome. So
Welcome to come. It'll be fun. Okay, bye.
Bye.